You're watching Choice TV, the people's choice for TV. This segment of the news brought to you by Bank of St. Lucia, all the bank you need.
Hello everyone, welcome to Choice News Now Prime. I am Kishana Smith, sitting in for Shane Cherry. Watch the broadcast live on our Choice TV Facebook page, Choice TV SLU, and our YouTube channel at Choice TV St. Lucia, or listen to the simulcast. We're on Liberty Radio 92.3 FM. In the news tonight, Joyce St. Omer's family demands answers and questions. Did the system fail to protect her despite an active protection order? Kenny Anthony pays tribute to Fidel Castro and calls for change as a lasting gift to Cuba. The National Youth Council and the Cultural Development Foundation harness music and culture to empower young people. And in news from the region, the CCG president denies alleged attempts to influence Mohammed Appeal. In our top story tonight, nearly 3 months after 24-year-old Joyce St. Omer was fatally shot in Marigot on May 20th, her family is renewing its call for answers, not only surrounding her killing, but also over whether the systems and institutions tasked with protecting her did enough to prevent the tragedy. With an active protection order in place at the time of her death, the family is now seeking an independent commission of inquiry to examine the actions, decisions, and possible institutional failures that preceded the young mother's death. More in this report. As authorities continue efforts to tackle violent crime, behind the statistics are lives lost and families left searching for answers. One such case is the killing of 24-year-old Joyce St. Omer, who was fatally shot on May 20th, 2026, while seated in a vehicle in Marigot. Police responding to reports of a homicide found St. Omer, a young mother, unresponsive with multiple gunshot wounds. A post-mortem examination determined that she died from hemorrhagic shock caused by multiple injuries. Her estranged husband, 34-year-old Primus Tousse of Belvedere Canaries, was subsequently charged with murder and remanded in police custody. Nearly 3 months later, St. Omer's family is renewing its call for answers and demanding an independent commission of inquiry into the circumstances surrounding her death. Her mother, Botelia St. Omer, has also raised concerns about possible institutional failures preceding the tragedy.
What I come to speak about is something that the criminal trial will never answer. And it is this. My daughter Joy asked for help. She asked again and again. Joy left no stone unturned. She went to the police at Marigot. She went to the police at Ancillary, where she resided. She went to the police at Rodney Bay, where she worked. She went to the ministry responsible for gender relations. She went to the courts, both high and lower court, where a protection order was put in place for her.
St. Omer further elaborated on the measures which were taken by her daughter prior to her demise, citing several instances of her attempt to prevent the tragic turn.
Under the law, an order like this is backed by the power of arrest. The police themselves have said publicly that the order was still in force the day that she died. When she believed that the order had been broken, she reported it. She went to the lower court and the high court. She also went to a lawyer to begin her divorce. She did everything that the law asked. Everything. She tried to use the institutions and protections that our country tells every woman are here to help them.
An interim protection order was issued against Primus Tousse on February 19, 2026, following a report of assault by Joyce St. Omer and extended for 6 months by the family court. Despite the order remaining active when St. Omer was killed on May 20th, her mother questioned the handling of the case. The family is seeking an independent commission of inquiry.
Yesterday, my family and I formally petitioned His Excellency the Governor General, under the Commissions of Inquiry Act, to appoint a commission of inquiry. We have also written to the Right Honorable Prime Minister asking that the Cabinet advise His Excellency to grant it. In the meantime, we will be circulating a public memorial inviting the public to add their voices by signing the Citizens' Memorial.
The petition seeks to go beyond simply determining who killed Joyce and Omar. It is also calling for scrutiny of the institutions responsible for providing safety and security, whether the mechanisms designed to protect victims of domestic violence are sufficiently robust, whether warnings are being adequately addressed, and whether the institutions entrusted with safeguarding vulnerable women are equipped to intervene before threats culminate in irreversible tragedy. As the criminal proceedings against Primus Duse continue, the family is demanding that the circumstances surrounding Joyce's death be subjected to the same degree of scrutiny as the murder itself. For Choice News Now, I am Kishana Smith. Education Minister, the Honorable Kenson Kazimi, says a special ceremony will soon be held to mark payments to school cooks, cleaners, and ancillary staff whose contributions help sustain St. Lucia's schools and create a conducive learning environment for students. Asked whether the initiative will continue, Kazimi expressed confidence that it will be sustained under a Labour administration. Sienna Dalso has the details in this report.
Education Minister Kenson Kazimir says the Ministry of Education will soon host a special ceremony to commemorate the historic payment of August salaries to school cooks, janitors, daycare workers, and auxiliary staff. The announcement made on Monday the 17th of August follows the Ministry's initial declaration in April that these workers would receive their salaries at the end of each month, marking a significant development in the recognition and support of essential school personnel.
Very soon, we're expecting to have a very nice ceremony for signaling the first ever payment of summer payment to cleaners, cooks, and other ancillary staff at the Ministry of Education, from the Fraternity of Education, from this government, testament to all aspects of education being touched and developed in this nation.
When asked whether the government intends to sustain this initiative in years to come, the minister referred to the Labour Party's manifesto and priorities to contextualize his response.
The St. Lucia Labour Party has been a government that has been consistent in ensuring that we provide this level of some form of security of tenure to as many people as possible. We believe that at the end of the day, when individuals work well, they work hard, that we will compensate them the best we can based on the economic activities in the country. So I do not see a St. Lucia Labour Party not continuing such an endeavor.
He says that commitments like these empower entire households, especially children and youth, depending on their parents to take care of them.
I've not met a cook or cleaner or any of the security guards that do not have children. For some reason, they have a family that from time immemorial they've been struggling in the month of August to provide that level of support going into September. And it's a critical month, especially the first month of getting into a new form, a new grade, that we see as very important for the students to settle in as quickly as possible.
For Choice News Now, I am Sienna Dalso.
On Saturday, the Cuban Embassy in St. Lucia and the St. Lucia-Cuba Friendship Association hosted a celebration of Fidel Castro's birthday anniversary, of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two nations, and of the founding of the Friendship Association. Choice TV spoke exclusively with the leaders of each organizing group, who gave further insight into the significance of these milestones and one of the celebration. Here's Sienna Dalso once again with the details in this report.
The Finance Administrative Center in Castries was the setting on Saturday the 15th of August for a special commemoration marking the 100th anniversary of Fidel Castro's birth, the 47th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between St. Lucia and Cuba, and the 21st anniversary of the St. Lucia-Cuba Friendship Association's founding. Speaking with the Cuban ambassador to St. Lucia, Eugenia Lisbilma de Reiferos Linares, she described former Cuban President Fidel Castro as one of the most outstanding leaders to emerge from the Caribbean, emphasizing the importance of remembering his legacy and values, particularly during these challenging times.
that great Caribbean leader that has been an icon of solidarity, humanism, patriotism, revolutionary ideas, and also a Caribbean leader. For us, celebrating this 100th anniversary in the context of the difficult situation we have in Cuba, we are facing, the Cuban people is facing, extremely important because we cannot forget the values of ethics, the values of resilience, the values of anti-imperialism led by Fidel.
Marlene Alexander, the president of the St. Lucia Cuba Friendship Association, expressed great pride in the aid that the association was able to offer Cuba in this 21st year of its existence.
We are very proud that during the 21st anniversary, we have been able to assist Cubans in many ways, providing them with humanitarian support, etc., sending a container, and most recently, on 1st of May, we send humanitarian aids to Cuba. Most proudly, I'm very proud that we are now a registered company and increase membership of the St. Lucia Cuba Friendship Association.
The Cuban ambassador underscored Cuba's resolute belonging to and solidarity with the Caribbean region in her message to St. Lucian people.
I would like them to remember always the pathway and also all the love, the solidarity of Fidel Castro with the Caribbean, not only with St. Lucia, not only with Eastern Caribbean countries, but also with the Caribbeans. In general, Cuba is part of the Caribbean. We are joined by history, we are joined by blood, we are joined by culture, and this fact of having many Caribbeans formed in Cuban universities, having Cuban doctors save lives here.
This auspicious commemoration of three crucial milestones of Cuban legacy and St. Lucian Cuban friendship saw presentations given by St. Lucian leaders who serve as allies to Cuba and advocates for its self-determination. Among these was a keynote speech offered by former Prime Minister and friend of Fidel Castro, Dr. Kenny Anthony, who offered a fiery speech that ended with a call to action for St. Lucia to reciprocate the unrelenting kindness that Cuba offered at its most prosperous now that they need support the most. For Choice News Now, I am Sienna Dalso.
Coming up, Kenny Anthony pays tribute to Fidel Castro and calls for change as lasting gift to Cuba. And the National Youth Council, NYC, and the Cultural Development Foundation harness music and culture to empower young people. These stories and more coming up after the break. Stay with us, the news continues.
It's all about you and the dreams you believed, how you made your way ahead, all the goals you have achieved.
All along the way, you've been a partner so true, all the way you've seen me through.
We're all the bank you need. It's still about you and the life you're shaping now, all the doors that open wide, every step, every vow.
All along the way, you'll be a partner so true, all the way you've seen me through.
We're all the bank you need. We're the Bank of St. Lucia, so bank on your future. We're the Bank of St. Lucia, all the bank you need.
Celebrating 25 years strong. Bank of St. Lucia, all the bank you need.
Welcome to our Cruise Community Series, where we meet the persons behind the scenes who drive our diverse cruise industry. Today, we meet one of our amazing cruise agents.
Platinum Port Agency, we are a maritime vessel agency. Basically, we are agents for whenever maritime vessels need to come into St. Lucia. They need to be cleared with the government officials of St. Lucia, and we are the ones that facilitate those requests. Any foods, items, so you try to foster a relationship with the cruise lines, you exchange emails, try to create a human connection, different channels of economic stimulation that happens from that. You have, say, the drivers that need to get the persons to and from, or the goods to and from. You have farmers or suppliers. There's a lot of things that we do in the cruising sector that may not be on the front line for people to see, but rest assured we're getting it done.
Welcome back. Over the weekend, celebrations marking 3 milestones in Cuban sovereignty also highlighted the enduring bond between St. Lucia and Cuba. Beyond diplomatic ties, former St. Lucian Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony shared a long-standing friendship and mutual admiration with former Cuban President Fidel Castro. Reflecting on that relationship and Castro's legacy ahead of the 100th anniversary of his birth, Dr. Anthony made an appeal for meaningful change, saying it could serve as a lasting gift from the people of St. Lucia to Cuba. Sienna Dalso tells us more.
The enduring relationship between St. Lucia and Cuba was celebrated during a special event hosted by the Cuban Embassy and the St. Lucia-Cuba Friendship Association to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Fidel Castro's birth and reflect on the long-standing ties between the two nations. During the observance held on Saturday, the 15th of August, former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony delivered the keynote address, sharing personal reflections on his relationship with the former Cuban leader and examining the impact of Castro's legacy on St. Lucia and the wider Caribbean. In his remarks, Dr. Anthony emphasized that Cuba's achievements should be viewed as Caribbean achievements, citing an excerpt from his address at the second Cuba-CARICOM Summit to highlight Cuba's significant contributions to the region's development.
The CARICOM-Cuba relationship boasts a very substantial portfolio of development cooperation, covering inter alia, education, health, sports, culture, and trade. The member states of the community have benefited tremendously over the years from educational opportunities which have been made available to their citizens in fields covering a very wide range of academic disciplines. Cuba's assistance in this area has eclipsed by far the total assistance made available to the Caribbean community by our richest development partners combined.
Towards the end of his tribute, Dr. Anthony reflected on what St. Lucia can give to the Cuban people to honor Castro's 100th birthday anniversary.
First, we must continue to give our undying friendship, respect, and admiration for the Cuban Revolution and Cuban people. No matter where you are at on the political divide or the ideological spectrum, but there is so much in that revolution to admire, as you have heard.
His second plea and offering was to support Cuba with great courage and without fear of upsetting the United States. He further joked that the St. Lucia-Cuba Friendship Association's calls for donations should be heeded without fear of losing our visas.
Cuba needs us now. Cuba, as I told you earlier, has never asked us for anything in return. Even as Cuba is enduring this pain and this anguish, even as its population is denied access to basic services, Cuba has never begged. Cuba has never asked. Cuba has never pleaded. But that's not the point. That is not the point. We now must allow our humanity to speak for us.
Dr. Anthony left as a final thought the respect that Cuba maintained as the greatest Caribbean island for the sovereignty of small island states like St. Lucia, a point that he emphasized before later remarking on heightened levels of uncertainty and an apparent lack of outright courage among Caribbean governments.
Never once in my entire tenure as Prime Minister of St. Lucia did Fidel or any diplomatic functionary of Cuba request a favor of St. Lucia in return for what Cuba had done for St. Lucia. Never once. Not even come to me to say to me that they want St. Lucia to give diplomatic support to X or Y. That is the level and depth of respect that Cuba had for these islands.
He said that Fidel Castro made the greatest impact on his thinking, citing his exemplification of the power of imagination, intellect, humanity, and excruciating attention to detail in leadership. For Choice News Now, I am Sienna Dalso.
History comes in cycles. It comes and it goes. But one thing I know for sure, the memory of Fidel will never, ever die. Long live the Cuban Revolution! Long live Fidel Castro! Long live the people of Cuba!
Preserving cultural history through literature requires both creative vision and personal conviction. Amani Mathre, founder and creator of the L'Histoire Collective, is taking on that task by empowering young local writers to document native stories. Following the recent launch of the anthology Tewe L'Histoire, Mathre reflects on the collaborative process, overcoming creative self-doubt, and the historic setting that inspired their work. Phoebe Popo tells us more in this report.
Unearthing local history and translating it into print is a task that carries both weight and responsibility. For Amani Mathre, creator and founder of the L'Histoire Collective, the journey to launch the anthology Tewe L'Histoire meant building a space where young St. Lucian storytellers could thrive together. From navigating the pressures of managing a project with significant cultural weight, to gathering inspiration during a writing retreat at the Balenbush estate, Mathre and her team worked to bridge historical reflection with modern creative expression. Mathre breaks down the origin of the L'Histoire Collective and the creative process behind bringing these native narratives to life.
So L'Histoire Collective is trying to do many things, and I think above all, we're trying to remind St. Lucians that we have a very rich history, a very rich culture, and it's not reduced to what we might see in history books or what we might see on international television. So for a very long time growing up, when I heard about St. Lucia or read about St. Lucia in books, it was often about tourists coming to St. Lucia and on the beach and relaxing. And that's the very small glimpse that people would get of St. Lucia. And for us, we're really trying to move beyond that. We are people, and with that comes so much diversity. With the history that we have, this culture that we have that is so vibrant, and how it transcends so many different things and how it trickles into every aspect of our life.
Managing a project grounded in rich local history presented significant challenges, as Mathre shares what it took for her team to overcome self-doubt during the creative process.
I think the biggest fear is imposter syndrome, and people say that all the time, but it's not a cliche. When we started, we really were we call ourselves 5 mad girls because we're just friends who met through employment for different aspects of our lives, and we realized we had this synergy, we had ideas that we wanted to bring to life. But sometimes we look at ourselves and we think we're really just 5 mad girls trying to bring this to life. And lately what we've been working on is putting that respect on our name, that we are professionals. Yes, we might be mad girls, but we are talented, we are skilled, we've done the work. And I think reminding ourselves that we are more than competent when it comes to doing this.
Pushing through creative hurdles wasn't easy, but as Mathre explains, those setbacks ultimately worked in the writer's favor.
One of the things I think that was a little difficult was getting some of the writers themselves to come away from the imposter syndrome, because the stories were brilliant, and I kept telling them that you have brilliant voices, you have brilliant ideas, but I think there was a little fear from some of them to put that out there, to send it to me so that I could look at it and edit it. And when I read it, I was like, you had no reason to be afraid, this is great work. But I think we all have that in us where, and especially when you're doing something as vulnerable as writing, you're really putting yourself out there on paper. You're putting your ideas, your experiences, the things you care about, what you're passionate about. So I think it took a little bit of nudging sometimes to get people to put the stories on paper, but it was worth it.
By confronting creative hurdles and anchoring their writing in local history, the L'Histoire Collective continues to demonstrate the lasting impact of youth-led cultural preservation. As Tewe L'Histoire reaches readers across the island and beyond, Mathre and her team hope it inspires a new generation of St. Lucian writers to own and archive their stories. Reporting for Choice News Now, I am Phoebe Popo.
This is Choice News Now Prime. More news after the break.
Every building pulses with its own life and energy. Let's ensure yours shines with health and vitality. Lewis Industries infuses life into every corner of your buildings with tailored cleaning solutions. From conquering mold and mildew, restoring floors to their former glory, to meticulous post-construction cleanups, washroom sanitizations, and caring for delicate fabrics and upholstery, our comprehensive services covers all your building cleaning needs. Create an environment that boosts productivity and leaves a lasting impression, because clean is not just an appearance, but a performance. Bring your workspace to life with Lewis Industries. Call us at 450-4060 or visit us at www.lewisindustries.ltd.com to schedule your professional cleaning service today.
We could do something with that extra space downstairs.
You mean where your 25-year-old nephew refuses to leave?
Stop it, Eddie. I mean, the actual space. Fresh paint, new furniture.
An eviction notice?
We could fix it up properly, okay?
Okay, turn it into a rental. Make some extra money. I just don't want a second mortgage.
It's not a second mortgage. HomeFlex gives you a $50,000 line of credit using the freed up value in your home. You use what you need and pay down what you use over time. You can also use it for investments or even pay for your vacation.
When is your vacation here ending?
Ask about a BOSL HomeFlex line of credit today.
Auntie, call me when food ready.
BOSL HomeFlex. Unlock your home's potential.
Welcome back. The St. Lucia National Youth Council and the Cultural Development Foundation are joining focus to use culture and music as tools for youth empowerment through a new summer enrichment program in Castries South. The 5-day initiative, which runs from August 17th to 21st, combines cultural education, leadership development, and hands-on musical training to help young people strengthen their sense of identity, develop new skills, and become active contributors within their communities. Phoebe Popo tells us more.
Rooted in heritage and driven by the rhythms of community, true cultural enrichment equips young people not just to preserve their roots, but to shape their own futures. Young people in Castries South are being encouraged to strengthen their cultural identity and develop their leadership potential through the St. Lucia National Youth Council's inaugural Summer Enrichment Program. Running from August 17th to the 21st, 2026, the 5-day initiative combines cultural immersion, music education, and leadership training as part of the Cultural Development Foundation's expanded community outreach program. Hosted at the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School, the program is designed around a holistic approach to youth development, blending creative musical instruction with structured leadership training to inspire meaningful social change from the ground up. Assistant Secretary at the National Youth Council, Marcus Gerardi, shares the reasoning behind the enrichment program.
As a part of the SLNYC Constitution, our mission statement is to harness creativity and talent within the St. Lucian youth. And one of the things that we focus on the camp is creative and arts. So this is why we decided to partner with the Cultural Development Foundation to focus on the talents that our young people have instead of focusing on the normal things as per the fun and games when it comes to a summer camp. Hence why we decided to put it as a summer enrichment program to build our future leaders.
Mrs. Ramona Henry Wyan, Executive Director of the Cultural Development Foundation, outlines the strategic significance of this partnership in driving the Foundation's mission.
First off, we believe in collaboration. As a CDF, we can't do it alone. So it is important for us to work with other interested partners, other interested parties. And in doing our own camp, we recognize there were quite a few camps all over the island. And we had an informal intervention with the young lady from Castries South who's doing the camp. And in speaking to her, you know, she was very receptive in terms of what she was doing at the camp. And we thought, okay, how do we infuse the arts into the camp? Because for us, it's about ensuring that the arts and culture has a wide reach across the island.
Percussion instructor John Polius expresses hope that participants will embrace the camp's lessons and actively apply their new skills.
I hope that that camp would open up their eyes to music and what it can do for the wellness of somebody, you know. Now as we see the craze as it is, it borders around music, but it not taking the music in seriously, if you understand what I'm saying. So that camp today should help build that type of awareness to, embracing music.
As the camp draws to a close on August 21st, the collaboration sets a promising precedent for community-based youth development across St. Lucia. By investing directly in the young people of Castries South, the CDF and SLNYC and the Music Hub are doing more than just filling summer days. They are establishing a scalable model for grassroots empowerment. If this pilot program is any indication, the future of St. Lucia's community leadership is not only bright, but deeply rooted in culture and collective purpose. Reporting for Choice News Now, I am Phoebe Popo.
With growing concern over high sugar consumption and lifestyle diseases, local distributors are introducing new options to St. Lucia's beverage market. Ed Essentials has rolled out Fresher Sparkling Mineral Drink, a high-vitamin alternative aimed at curbing reliance on sugary sodas, including in school canteens. Demonstrating that focus in real time on August 14th, Fresher served as a focal point at the Youth Summer Arts Platform WISAP Sports Day at the Leclerc Playing Field, keeping participants refreshed with cold, healthy drinks throughout the event.
High sugar sodas and processed juices continue to dominate supermarket shelves and school canteens, even as calls for healthier beverage options grew louder. In response, local distributor Ed Essentials has introduced Fresher Sparkling Mineral Drink to the St. Lucian market. Positioned as an alternative to traditional sugary beverages, the vitamin-enriched drink is also being considered for the school canteen system, where the availability for healthier options remain an ongoing topic of discussion. Speaking with the Choice News team at the Youth Summer Arts Platform Sports Day on August 14, 2026, Ed Essentials sales and marketing representative Giovanni Labon explained the company's decision to introduce the product to St. Lucia and its potential to influence healthier consumer habits.
So Ed Essentials started about 12 years ago. We initially started by selling school bags, school books, and basically stationery for the students. Now we branched off into actually doing school uniforms, and then we actually had our own factory where we produced it ourselves. Now, about a year and a half ago, we branched out into selling drinks and snacks and different products as well. This is where Ed Essentials distribution started off. And now we would like Fresher, our main product, to be the main feature product on the stage in all fridges, in all bars in St. Lucia.
The introduction of Fresher to the St. Lucian market was spearheaded by the company's chief executive manager, according to Labon.
So our chief executive officer, Mrs. Jenny Acid James, she actually took a trip across the Caribbean. She went to St. Martin in particular, and whilst being out, she actually saw Fresher in the fridge, and she said, you know what, I've never seen this before. She tried it out herself, and she said, this is an amazing drink. She fell in love with it. When she came back to St. Lucia, she did a little trip across the island looking for Fresher here, and she couldn't find it anywhere. And she said, listen, if I'm having this amazing drink elsewhere in the Caribbean, we deserve it in St. Lucia as well. And she set off on a journey to ensure that Fresher would be available in St. Lucia.
Labon explains that the health advantages of Fresher are extensive, ranging from its rich vitamin profile to its potential as a low-sugar alternative.
Fresher is actually a very healthy alternative to the current drinks that we have on market. It is made with natural mineral water. It is loaded with vitamins and minerals. It is low on sugar and made with real fruit juice. So one bottle of Fresher supplies you with twice your daily recommended vitamin intake, and it is also very, very low on sugar. So for kids, for adults, for people who have maybe diabetes in their family, it is an amazing option for you, and it also tastes great.
Whether a single product can fundamentally alter St. Lucia's dietary landscape remains to be seen. However, as public health advocates continue to push for reduced sugar intake, particularly among young people, the introduction of vitamin-rich alternatives to retail shelves and school canteens marks a noticeable shift in consumer options. How readily shoppers and students trade familiar sugary drinks for healthier substitutes will ultimately determine if products like Fresher can sustain a lasting impact on local drinking habits. Reporting for Choice News Now, I am Phoebe Popo.
The news continues after the break with BR Daily. Stay with us.
Life is full of tough choices. this one shouldn't be one of them. Wait, 9 pieces for $35? That's crazy. But do I need KFC today? I mean, I had it. When did I last have KFC? Oh yeah, that was a good day. Okay, wait. If I don't buy it, someone else will. And what if they take the last bucket? Yep, right decision. Definitely right decision.
KFC Crazy Tuesday, because some deals are too good to resist.
Advertise to a captive audience. Make your business a star with Choice TV. Call today for your advertising package. Make the right choice. Call 728-9652.
Welcome back to Choice News Now Prime. Here is PR Daily with Sienna Dalso.
Welcome to PR Daily, your trusted source for the latest press releases, important announcements, community initiatives, and events. I'm your presenter, Sienna Dalso. Supporting mothers, strengthening families, and building healthier communities. That's the focus of this year's Breastfeeding Awareness Month. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition has officially launched the month-long observance, highlighting the importance of breastfeeding as the foundation for lifelong health.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition officially launched Breastfeeding Awareness Month with an opening ceremony at the Miko Secondary School, bringing together healthcare professionals, mothers, and community members to reaffirm the importance of breastfeeding in giving every child the best possible start in life. Held under the theme Breastfeeding for a Sustainable Start in Life, Strengthen What Works, the ceremony highlighted the shared responsibility of creating an environment where mothers feel informed, empowered, and supported to breastfeed successfully. Chief Nutritionist Lisa Hunt, in her welcome address, reaffirmed the ministry's commitment to strengthening breastfeeding support.
Successful breastfeeding is not solely the responsibility of mothers. It requires a collective support of families, healthcare providers, employers, communities, and the policymakers. Every mother deserves accurate, evidence-based information about breastfeeding. Skilled guidance from trained health professionals and a supportive environment that enables her to breastfeed with confidence and dignity. Here in St. Lucia, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition remains committed to promoting, protecting, and supporting breastfeeding through evidence-based policies, baby-friendly initiatives, healthcare worker training, community education, and partnerships with national and regional stakeholders.
District Medical Officer Dr. Aaron Ajuda encouraged families to embrace breastfeeding, highlighting its far-reaching benefits.
I just want to encourage us to continue to encourage our patients, our families to breastfeed. My recommendation as a father is to ensure that in the benefits of breastfeeding that we add that there is benefits for the father as well, benefits for the soul, economic benefits, benefits for the relationship, health benefits as well, okay? Because it keeps you at peace, it keeps you in love, it keeps your mind at a state of emotional stability.
Minister for Health, Wellness and Nutrition, Honorable Moses Baptist, commended healthcare workers for their ongoing advocacy in breastfeeding support.
I want to applaud the staff for keeping this awareness going year after year. And our government is aware that diet and good nutrition is essential for good health. It has to be part of the package of initiatives that must be supported in order for us to have this one health that we're talking about. That it's not just the medications and the doctor's advice and the nurse advice and the health aides and so on, but diet and nutrition must really continue to take center stage.
Throughout Breastfeeding Awareness Month, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition will continue to promote education and awareness on breastfeeding and encourage families, workplaces and communities to create supportive environments that enable mothers to breastfeed successfully. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, I am Unika McCoy.
The Department of Fisheries, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, recently hosted a capacity building and stakeholder workshop on sustainable shrimp hatchery and seed production. Facilitated by FAO consultant Dr. Mohamed Megahead, the workshop strengthened participants' knowledge of sustainable shrimp hatchery management, seed production, and culture practices. A key focus was the introduction of the Pacific white-leg shrimp, one of the world's most widely cultured shrimp species. The participants discussed its culture potential, production systems, water quality requirements, feeding, husbandry, and management. As part of the technical mission, Dr. Megahead also visited the Union Aquaculture Hatchery, where he met with technical staff and pond attendants to review existing operations, discuss production challenges, and identify opportunities for improving shrimp hatchery and seed production. The initiative supports ongoing efforts to strengthen technical capacity, promote species diversification, and advance the sustainable development of St. Lucia's aquaculture sector. Micoud police have formally charged 32-year-old Angus Popo of Angers Micoud in connection with the homicide of 28-year-old Nick Daniel at Lacouville Micoud. Daniel's body was found on Saturday, the 8th of August 2026, inside a concrete structure at Angers Micoud, bearing apparent wounds to his face and neck. Popo was arrested at the scene and taken into police custody. On Tuesday, the 11th of August 2026, a post-mortem examination was conducted on the body of Nick Daniel. The cause of death was determined to be neurovascular shock secondary to traumatic brain injury. On Wednesday, the 12th of August 2026, Popo was formally charged with the offense of murder. He was escorted to the 2nd District Court on Thursday, the 13th of August 2026, for a bail hearing and was remanded to the Bodley Correctional Facility. That's all for today's edition of PR Daily. If you have a press release that you want to share with our audience, send us an email at news.choicemedianetwork@gmail.com. Thank you for watching PR Daily. Do stay tuned for more news and updates. Back to you, Kishana.
Thank you, Sienna. It's now time to take a look at the local weather forecast.
Massey Store's waterfront is now temporarily closed for renovations for approximately 3 months. You are welcome to continue shopping with us at Massey Store's City Store or Leclerc, where you can enjoy double points on Wednesdays and Fridays, weekly sampling, and ring-a-ding Fridays during the renovations. Thank you for your understanding and continued support of Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Moi que tu as sous bout mi baba de moi aïe ouais mais moi passer immigration nga ko police tebe moi ha ti bay
moi fi me rester seul no match
la j'aime vrai nga fait comme un bobol comme
people who know me look at me as being a humble little guy, you know.
Comment pas me dire mardi c'est comment c'est pas mon travail
moi ou pas fait moi pas fait hello excuse me I'm back.
Voice of the People, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. only on Choice TV.
Massey Store's waterfront is now temporarily closed for renovations for approximately 3 months. You are welcome to continue shopping with us at Massey Store's City Store or Leclerc, where you can enjoy double points on Wednesdays and Fridays, weekly sampling, and ring-a-ding Fridays during the renovations. Thank you for your understanding and continued support of Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Welcome back. Here's Sienna Dalso once again with our regional news package.
Welcome to the Regional News Package. I'm your presenter, Siana Dalsol. The President of the Caribbean Court of Justice has released a statement denying allegations of attempts on his part to influence the appeal of Guyanese businessmen Nazar and Azreddin Mohammed. We hear more on this from HGP TV's Travis Chase.
The Caribbean Court of Justice President, Justice Winston Anderson, has categorically rejected allegations that he attempted to influence the judgment in the case involving Guyanese businessmen Nazar Mohammed and Azreddin Mohammed. The allegation is among several controversies addressed by Justice Anderson in a 9-page statement issued on August 14, following the publication of a confidential internal correspondence involving judges of the regional court. Justice Anderson's statement does not delve into the merits of those extradition proceedings. Instead, he directly confronts allegations surrounding what occurred internally at the CCJ during deliberations and the preparation of the judgment. And in doing so, the CCJ president makes an important admission. According to Anderson, there were differing views among the judges regarding aspects of the reasoning and how certain issues should be articulated in the final judgment. He maintains, however, that such disagreements are neither unusual nor evidence of improper interference. Anderson said robust and candid exchanges are encouraged among judges of the CCJ, with judicial conferences routinely involving competing legal analyses before a final judgment is settled. The CCJ president then strongly rejected any suggestion that he could have dictated the position ultimately adopted by his colleagues. He declared that no judge worthy of sitting on the CCJ bench would allow himself or herself to be unduly influenced by another judge, including the president of the CCJ. But perhaps the most consequential part of Anderson's defense is his disclosure that, notwithstanding the differing views during deliberations, all 7 CCJ judges were ultimately unanimous as to the disposition of the Mohammed's appeal. Justice Anderson described any suggestion that judicial views were suppressed or that a judge was directed to reach a particular conclusion as wholly without foundation. The president's explanation now places him on the public record that disagreements over aspects of the reasoning did occur during the preparation of the Mohammed judgment, while leaving Anderson firmly rejecting the much more serious allegation that those disagreements involved improper presidential interference. Justice Anderson's statement comes amid wider controversy surrounding leaked internal CCJ correspondence and allegations concerning the administration and governance of the Caribbean's highest appellate court. He has condemned the disclosure of confidential judicial material, arguing that such leaks undermine judicial and public confidence in the administration of justice. The Caribbean Court of Justice recently ruled that there were no politically motivated grounds to quash the Home Affairs Minister Onij Waldron's authorization of a magistrate to conduct hearings for the extradition of the father and son to the United States of America. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Even as questions continue to dominate the public domain on who is running the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in the absence of its appointed Commissioner Alistair Gavaro, Deputy Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin has assured that there are no problems with the administration or running of the organization under the current policies. We hear more from TV6 News TNT.
Commissioner Gavaro has taken a few days of emergency leave, and police sources said that it is likely that he has left the country. Currently, DCP Benjamin holds the most senior rank of the executive of the service, and as a result, he will be overseeing its operationality in the interim. Speaking with TV6 this evening, Benjamin said he had not yet received any official letters of appointment to the role of acting commissioner. However, he noted the public conversation on the issue and explained that the current situation surrounding the appointment of an acting commissioner of police would not affect the day-to-day administration or leadership of the service. He said that under the appointment process, the Police Service Commission would submit its choice from the executive of the service to the President, who would then send the nomination to Parliament. Parliament would then deal with the appointment before the matter was returned to the Service Commission for the appointment to be made. However, Benjamin noted that Parliament was not currently active, raising questions about how the process could proceed at this time. He said this did not prevent the TTPS from continuing to operate according to established protocols. Benjamin said the service had operated under similar circumstances on previous occasions and that this had not created problems. Quote, "There's no problems in terms of proper administration and leadership at the TTPS at this time." End quote. He said the TTPS would continue to function while the formal appointment process was completed. On Saturday, Opposition PNM Chairman Marvin Gonzalez questioned the whereabouts of Substantive Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara and whether an acting commissioner had been formally appointed. Following the PNM's General Council meeting at Balize House in Port of Spain, Gonzalez called on Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander and Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, who chairs the National Security Council, to explain the situation. Gonzalez also claimed he had received information that Guevara had left the country and questioned whether the Police Service Commission had appointed an acting commissioner to perform the duties of the substantive office during his absence. Benjamin, who previously acted as commissioner in October 2025, had previously assumed the duties of commissioner, while Earl Harewood Christopher and McDonald Jacob were substantive commissioners. On Sunday, he said such arrangements were not unusual or foreign to the TTPS, but added that he wanted to be careful about what he said ahead of today's meeting.
The owner of St. Kitts Marine Works, Reginald Francis, is demanding a public apology and compensation over statements made by Minister of Sustainable Development, Dr. Joel Clark, as well as the ministry's permanent secretary during the August 5th edition of In Focus. We hear more on this from Television Caribbean's Andre Huey, who outlines the exchange in this report.
The owner of St. Kitts Marine Works, Reginald Francis, is demanding a public apology and compensation over statements made by Minister of Sustainable Development, Dr. Joel Clark, during the August 5th edition of In Focus. Francis points to a February 23, 2026 letter from the Permanent Secretary rescinding the land sale agreement, which he says acknowledges a $50,000 payment made toward the purchase of the property and states it would instead be applied towards rent under a proposed lease. He argues this contradicts statements made during the program suggesting no payments had been made.
No, that person is supposed to be leasing the land from the government. The business occupies over 26.8 acres of land. But in all the years, they've been there for almost 25 years, but no payment. No, absolutely no payment. Nothing is in the treasury. And so the ministry had to make a decision.
We don't have a lease. We had a sale agreement. When you have a sale agreement, you don't pay a lease. So on the February 23rd of 2026, Sustainable decided to cancel my sale agreement, which was signed in 2021. That 2021 agreement had in all the back taxes, all the back rentals, and everything included in it. And that price was about approximately $6.5 million. At the same time, the government owed me over $10 million for the Old Road Fisheries project, which I did. If the government owes me more than I owe them, I don't think I should be paying the government. They should be paying me the difference and offset the balance. That is why no further payments beside the deposit was paid.
Francis also rejects being described by the minister as an unscrupulous person and denies allegations that he refused to accommodate local boats.
I received a voice note from a fisher just 3 weeks ago. And the voice note says to me, it seems like we are being asked or told to pressure you, the government, so that this lease could go through to that person's benefit. And we're being told that if there's a hurricane, that the company is only going to take foreign boats. They have no space for local boats. Pressure. Unnecessary pressure and fear for whose advantage? So that the government could, move on the lease, reduce the cost. And for me, when you waste people's time and you send multiple videos with lies, and then you make a mistake and send them to my phone, knowing that I'm on every email thread, I am there facilitating, I am the one in cabinet lobbying and reading the documentation. PS is there with the Attorney General office working on this. How do you, if you're not an unscrupulous person, but clearly you are, go and tell fisher folk, we ain't taking your boat, you're in a foreign person?
From the moorings company, which has been coming since before COVID, probably like around 9-10 years they've been coming. They book in advance. nearly a year in advance with dates and numbers of boats. There's no local boat that has a booking that I have not honored. If I'm committed to a company which made a booking, I have to make space for those boats first.
Francis says the St. Kitts Marine Works has invested millions of dollars in marine infrastructure and that the business generates significant economic activity through foreign vessels, employment, and support for the local maritime industry. Francis says he's seeking a full public apology and appropriate compensation. I'm Andre Huey reporting for Television Caribbean TVC Channel 40 News.
And that's all for the regional news package. Back to you, Kishana.
Thank you, Sienna. Our final segment is right after the break. Stay with us.
Courts presents their 2026 all-range event. Be inspired at all Court stores nationwide. Come see what's new in everyday furniture and appliances. Get a chance to win an Indorama 30-inch stove with appliance purchase of $5,999 or more. Great deals on TVs and wall mounts. Everyday great value on mattresses. Bedroom bundle deals up to 25% off. Be inspired at the Courts 2026 all-range event. Affordable convenience for your home. Only at Courts. Bringing value home. Offer ends July 25th, 2026. Conditions apply.
Massey Stores Waterfront is now temporarily closed for renovations for approximately 3 months. You are welcome to continue shopping with us at Massey Stores City Store or Leclerc, where you can enjoy double points on Wednesdays and Fridays, weekly sampling, and ring-a-ding Fridays during the renovations. Thank you for your understanding and continued support of Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Collecting rainwater is easier than you think. With just a tank and a few simple connections, you can capture rainwater to use for non-potable uses, like cleaning, gardening, and more. Water is life. Every action matters. Every drop counts.
Welcome back. Before we end the broadcast, here's our update. A young immigrant's journey from poverty and violence in Brazil to a full scholarship at Yale University is being celebrated as a powerful example of how opportunity, mentorship, and community support can transform lives. 23-year-old Thales de Souza grew up in a disadvantaged community where poverty, instability, and violence shaped much of their childhood. After surviving a gunfight that erupted inside his home in 2016, his mother made the life-changing decision to leave everything behind and move her family to the United States. After settling in Massachusetts, De Souza began working at a Wendy's restaurant while attending high school. His strong work ethic earned him a promotion to shift manager and the respect of restaurant owners Usama El Sarawi and the late Ernest Smiley. Recognizing his potential, the two employers offered to pay his community college tuition. Their investment proved life-changing. De Souza excelled academically, later applying to several universities before earning acceptance to Yale on a full scholarship. He will begin studies in political science and human rights this fall, with plans to pursue a career in law. And with that, we come to the end of our primetime newscast. On behalf of the entire Choice TV family, thank you for staying with us. Stay tuned for more quality programming on Choice TV.
Ici, nous pas jamais fait pour rester tranquille. Pas tout jour, pas toute la semaine, pas distant la vie qu'a passé nous. À présent, levez du bout. Marchez en commun nous. Logez corps en place travail. Pour marche là, danser à cuisine nous. Bonne corps avec gens travail. Bonne corps avec moun en commun nous. Bonne corps avec issue. Parce que 5 minutes pas trop petit. Ciao besoin, sans besoin, li deux besoin. Tout ti marché ka leve quoi. Chaque mouvement ka goumen côte, pressure, sick, stress, fatigue. Ça pas ni rien pour faire ek moun ka aller en gym. Ça ka concerne nous tout. En travail, en l'école, en kaila, en toute commune. Nous pas ni pour espérer plus tard. Ou pas besoin